Hey, welcome back to Atheist Edge. I'm Jim. I'm here with Tom Jump.
How's it going?
Yeah, great
Nice
to
to meet
finally meet you. We've talked a little online a little bit. And so tonight we're at World of Beer. Tonight you are going to be doing a debate. First off, what's the debate about? Who are you debating?
The debate is, do we have reasons to believe in God? And I'm debating Dr. Ben Arbor, big philosophy guy. I've had a conversation with him before on my YouTube channel. Really interesting guy. Like him. Nice guy.
Okay, that's a really broad subject. Are you happy about that? Would you have rather had a more narrow topic?
Well, no, I usually pick the broader topics to give my opponents the opportunity to go anywhere they want with it.
Okay.
Because my goal is, I wrote an epistemology and model of morality, and the whole point of my debating in my YouTube channel is to demonstrate the effectiveness of those models, because I hope to gain enough popularity to get it published in like a book by a big publisher or something like that.
Awesome.
So I want to demonstrate its effectiveness as best I can. So I want to give my opponent as much opportunity they can to go wherever they want, and I'm just going to be able to show that my epistemology is so versatile that it can handle that and just address wherever they want to go without any specific topics prepared.
Bold claim, but I've seen you at work, well, at least in writing, so I really look forward to this. So what do you know about your opponent? Do you have a lot of, you said you've had some back and forth with them already, some dialogue in the past on Facebook?
No, we have a YouTube conversation. He was
YouTube?
one of the people that had a previous debate with in one of the conversations.
Oh, you were face to face?
No, it was over YouTube.
Oh, right.
So,
it was like a Skype or like a OBS or something?
Yep.
Okay.
So,
and how did that go?
Really well. I really enjoyed talking with him. We had interesting discussion about his favorite argument, the ontological argument. So I'm betting that's probably what he's going to bring up tonight as one of the things that's most pivotal to his position.
Is that can you conceive of the maximal, that
Yes,
one?
there is a maximally great being who exists.
Well, I've always thought, here's the armchair philosopher, right? If I can conceive of a maximally great unicorn, wouldn't that mean there's a unicorn god? I mean, am I thinking about this wrong?
Yeah, that's generally the most common argument against it. In
Oh,
fact,
really?
The first guy who came up with this was like, I think either Anselm or Aquinas. I keep getting them confused, but the response was immediately, well, I can just conceive of the greatest possible island. So there must be this greatest possible island that exists. So obviously, this is a ridiculous argument.
Unless it only works. I could see
God.
there's special pleading where it only works for an intelligent agent.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I'm going into this cold. I've never heard him speak. I've never seen anything. So this would be fun. It scares me. If I were in your position, you seem very comfortable. I would just be shitting bricks right now because of such a broad. I would want the exact opposite. Very, very tight topic that I can research. So you're going in this very confident. I mean, it's showing in your demeanor. So that's a good thing. I've seen.
It's on act. I'm terrified inside. You just don't know it.
Really? No, you're not. A little. I mean, you're gonna be. You gotta be. How many times have you actually been in a live debate like this with an actual crowd?
Well, this would be the second time that's been recorded. So I did once before last month in Wisconsin with Stephen Worthy. It was a really great debate. We did it at his church. Great church, great venue. A lot of really kind people. Made the best Frappuccino ever.
Right? Have you ever? What's the worst you've ever bombed? Have you ever felt like, ooh, I got my ass kicked?
Sort of. Like, I've been sick a few times in
Yeah.
a few debates. Like my debate versus Inspiring Philosophy, I was really sick during that.
Inspiring philosophy?
And so I did not phrase my arguments as best as I could, but I mean, wasn't really much I could do about that.
This is. I don't know much about him. I've seen one. I think he with R and Raw. I think it was here.
Yep.
I could be wrong. He strikes me as a little bit intellectually dishonest. Is he? It's like he's trying to win the debate rather than arriving at truths.
It's more that's just the way he thinks. He's one of those people who delves into all of the niche philosophical topics and terminologies, and he thinks that using those and applying those can get you to some kind of reason to believe in a god. And it's kind of like Deepak Chopra, where he uses all the psychobabble to try and make it seem like it makes sense. Yep. So it's kind of like that, but he actually believes it. So he uses the deepities just like Deepak Chopra does, but they both actually believe they make sense.
It's just, he's a night and day difference between, let me think of some really good characters that you can tell they honestly believe, they're intellectually honest, and they're not afraid to be wrong. They're comfortable going up there. They haven't yet, but you can tell they're comfortable going up there and saying, whoa, you have a point, which is very rare. John Ferrer, Blake Junta, these guys, they seem like the type that I would want to debate.
Well, yeah, I've done a debate with Blake before. He was one of the first guys I debated, before I even had a camera, actually. So it's just me up there.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I love that dude.
Yeah, me too. John Ferreira, I've talked with him via email. I wanted to do a debate with him, but he said he's too busy and he gets he's too busy to do debates right now or something like that. So but
He's
there's also
he's here local though. Right?
yeah. And then there's Chris Gadsden. He's a really nice guy. Same thing, always open to ideas. Stellman, a guy I debated or had interviews with, he's same thing, really open to ideas. There's a lot of people like that on my channel who are apologists who are extremely open to listening to the other side and accepting criticism of their position and saying, oh, that's an interesting point, I hadn't thought about it that way, I've got to go back and think of it. It's actually really surprising when I first started doing this. I wasn't expecting that there were so many apologists who were really open. I thought they were all just going to be dogmatic and intellectually dishonest and not open to any criticism, but I've been really surprised that most of them are the exact opposite. They're really open to criticism and learning and new ideas, just like the atheists are.
Most of them. Well, you don't have to answer this next question. Who are you not willing to debate? Who do you think is just, for one reason or the other, you're just not going to debate this character?
Steve McRae.
Okay, full disclosure, we're really tight friends. Oh, you already knew that. Hey, no problem. I judge someone on my interaction with them, not someone else's. So, and of course, I hope you do the same.
Yep.
Yeah, great friend of mine. I can totally see he is rough around the edges. He is stubborn as shit. And Steve, I hope you're watching this. Yeah, you already know this, but we've done countless episodes on our show about the colloquial definition of agnosticism versus atheism versus the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't ever want to go down that rabbit trail again. I think we've exhausted it. He actually changed my mind. I still am not going to rename this channel Agnostic Edge though. But I mean, he did change my mind. If someone asks, you know, I label myself an atheist still, but I put that caveat in there. Well, colloquially. What do you think about that?
Well, Steve is right that the philosophical definition of atheism is specifically used to mean the rejection of the existence of God. God does not exist.
And does that carry a secondary burden of at least some evidence for
Yes.
justifying your position?
Correct. So you are making a positive claim God doesn't exist, and you have to show that positive claim is true, present evidence that God does not exist.
And why do you not like him?
Well,
It's just his demeanor?
No. It's completely unrelated to that. Me and Steve have gotten into a lot of fights in the background on Twitter. He's misrepresented my position a bunch. He thinks that everything has some kind of malicious intent behind it. He doesn't honestly try to articulate or apply the principle of charity or Hanlon's razor in a lot of cases. There's a lot
Hanlon's
of things.
razor?
Yeah,
Hanlon's razor. Hold on, wait. Let me try to remember. That which can be attributed to don't attribute to malice that which could more easily be attributed to incompetence.
Correct.
Oh shit! Really?
Yep.
Dude, I'm becoming quite a little philosopher here. We've only been doing this show 2.5 years, and I've learned so much. That's awesome. So it's, I mean, that's unfortunate.
Yep.
Do you think will be ever maybe a what's the word?
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation.
Definitely is possible. If I get somebody he really respects on my show saying, yes, your epistemology is really interesting, I have value in this, and he sees that as like he could possibly reconsider his position, look more deeply into what my position actually is instead of trying to misrepresent it. And at that point, we could definitely have a reconciliation.
You just brought up another point. We've been trying to get you on our show. We for some reason or other, we had to bail the last go around, but we're still going to try to set another date, maybe in October if you're able. So you do have a YouTube show.
Correct. That's my main thing.
How many subscribers do you have?
1,800 right now.
Okay. All right. So you're over that monetization hump.
Yep.
And yeah, how are you liking that so far? How long have you been doing it?
I made my first video about 2 years ago, but I wasn't really doing it seriously
Okay.
back then. I published like a video every 6 months or something. I just started doing it like full time 6 months ago, and that's when it really exploded. I've gotten a lot of success financially, a lot of support, a lot of people who like me, and a lot of people who are Steve's friends who don't like me. But yeah, it's been a really wonderful experience. I've had the atheist community is like one of the most generous communities of all people on YouTube. So
Do you see a lot of that infighting, not just between the Steve crowd and you crowd now, but do you see it becoming more and more polarized? Like, oh, the us versus them mentality, the tribalism, that, oh, you walked out a step, you're out of our little clique.
Yeah, that happens a lot, the whole in-group, out-group thing.
Yeah.
Like it happened with the Atheism Plus versus Atheism movement, and the Gamergate movement versus the LGBT movement, and all these kinds of different groups.
And now the Rationality Rules and Essence of Thought,
Yep.
the Atheist Community of Austin,
And Rationality Rules.
and Rationality Rules again, and ACA and everything else that's going on.
And Steve and
People walking
Kyle.
away from the
Steve and
ACA,
Kyle.
the Steve and Kyle thing, which that is causing a rift.
Yep.
It's causing a rift. and I'm partly responsible, but I'm trying to make amends for what I've done.
Yeah, I'm an extremist of innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So I'm not going to judge Kyle, and I'm not going to judge Steve. I don't know what the situation is.
You're waiting for due process to take its course.
Correct.
That is the reasonable thing to do.
Steve is not happy about that.
And I'm not going to push you. You stick with that, but based on everything we know that's public right now, I think we can lean towards a side. But you're right. That promotes tribalism. The best course of action and the best way to keep unity in the atheist community is to really not talk about it until it's done.
Yep.
Do you have a strategy? I know you've done all your homework, and especially you really hit the ontological probably now. Do you have some stump paragraphs ready to go in case he throws you a curveball? Something to get him back on track, or do you have any rote memorized not passages, but things to throw out there just to get you back on track? Mnemonics.
I have a lot of those in certain contexts, depending on what they throw out. Like I have one for the historicity that I always go with, which is a Michael Laconic quote, because he's a big Christian historian, and it's most biblical scholars and historians hold to it that the study of miracle claims lies outside of the bounds of a historian acting within their professional capacity. So it essentially just takes all history and says, no miracles. And this is the consensus in history. It's a great quote to use when people bring up the argument of history.
That's good. Yeah.
And there's another one like
it sounded memorized when you said it because you said it so fast, but I'm sure when you're up there you're going to say it like you're just speaking it, right?
That's actually the biggest criticism I have, is that I talk too fast. And I haven't been able to fix it yet. I'm trying to slow it down. But
I was here once. Alex Jules got the exact opposite criticism. He was talking too slow.
Yeah.
It looked like he was stalling for time. But that's how he thinks. He's like Sam Harris. He's very pensive.
Yep.
And not many words come out of his mouth. So he got the exact opposite criticism. He and some other black pastor were debating slavery. That was a real good one.
That sometimes I use too many technical language. I need to break it down and make it simpler. That's a big one. So I've been trying to use more of the simple analogies, like the rabbit in the box, the broken compass, the historicity. Like if I told you I saw a dog, that's reasonable to believe. If I told you I saw a unicorn, that's not reasonable to believe. Using those simple examples seems to be the best thing to do. And sometimes when we get into using topics that are too niche, too specific, I haven't prepared those for those topics, and I get too detailed or too messy in the technical language, and that's a big criticism I've gotten.
That's a good point. Now, a lot of, I would say the majority of the people here are not your average, they're members of the Bible and Beer Consortium, they're atheists that are a member of,
The atheist
we had, right, yeah, so we know, we have a better understanding of what you're going to be saying, but still, that's good, the technical jargon, breaking it down for us, kind of, a layman's understanding. Do you fear that you guys, both philosophical, that you're going to go down some rabbit hole and lose us in the weeds, and we're just going to be like blank stares?
With Dr. Ben Arbor, I find that very highly problematic. He's an extremely educated, well-informed philosopher in philosophy, specifically in Thomism and the ontological argument. So if I'm making any type of criticism like how can you be sure that property isn't inconsistent or mutually inconsistent with other properties, he's going to go into this big, deep philosophical argument that no one is going to understand.
That's another, yeah, are you going to allow him, okay, so, between you and me, I'm not going to even record the first 2/3 of this. I'd never record the first 2/3 of a debate because it's reading off a piece of paper.
Yeah.
The debate starts at the back and forth and the Q&A.
Yeah.
That's all I want to record. Have you ever heard that, it's not about who's right in a formal debate. It's about who can win over the crowd.
Right.
I'm not saying it's a popularity contest, but if I looked at if I did the statistical charts on it, whoever can make the crowd laugh the most number of times will win. It's like whoever kicks at the goal the most times will score the most points. You're going to get a lot of misses. A lot of people like, dad joke, or that wasn't even funny.
I'm definitely going to try. I try to add those in as much as possible,
yeah.
But I want to balance it out between promoting my ideas and my epistemology along with trying to add the jokes in there. But I don't want to do too much of just trying to win over the crowd, because I do actually want to take the argument seriously. And since my goal is to promote my ideology, that I really need to address the arguments more than just attack the opponent. And so that is the major focus of my debate. But I do need to make sure it's entertaining, because if I don't do that, no one's going to watch.
Again, precisely. You're correct on both points. shoot, I'm going to let you get to it. You got to get your head into things, and you probably got to get set up. But hopefully we'll get. There will be a part 2 to this, and we will interview Tom afterwards, do a hot wash, and we'll see what he feels like he did right and wrong, and how he feels about the outcome of it.
Yeah.
But plugs too.
Oh yeah,
Plugs.
check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/tjump. Great show.
That's another thing. After getting 1,000 subscribers, another little thing that opens up for you is you get your own custom URL.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
The first 100 is the hardest number of subs to get. Then the next 1,000 is the hardest. After that, it's been. I mean, we've been getting 200, 300 a month.
Yeah.
Just doing nothing. And if we had actual good quality content, it'd be even more. You know how it is. You're over the hump.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so check out his channel. What else you got? You got a website, a blog?
I usually mostly just do the YouTube thing. I'm starting a website, but it hasn't gotten there yet. So
Okay.
Check out my YouTube. Got a Patreon, PayPal listed on there.
Oh, Patreon too?
Yep.
Okay,
Same
I'll
thing.
find that. It'll be linked in the description.
Patreon.com/tjump.
All right, thanks a lot for coming out.
Yeah,